CPO, Channel 9, where 9 means news 7 days a week, but Sunday, 11 a.m. It means bowling of the finest caliber. Riga Kalfas winning match number 1 with a 246 against Jim Beckler's 226. Starting out in admirable fashion here.
Boy, he really sent that head pin to the right, back to the left, wiped out everything standing in its way of all 10.
The mixer, the light shaker, when you've got the intensity and the roll on the ball, you're going to create that. 10 pins don't have to wind up in the pit.
I said about similar styles. We also have similar averages, 222 for Riga and 218 for Steve. Boy, he really went around that ball.
Well, the ball fell off of his hand early, Jen, and that's going to happen from time to time. And when it does, you're going to go around the ball to try to keep it on your hand longer. 35 years old, 210 is his average.
That's a composite.
753 qualifying at Suburban Lanes, and Steve was on our show a couple of weeks ago. Very creditable showing.
Very deliberate bowler.
Bringing back the tough wood, the 359, very appropriately brought back. After watching Riga's performance in match number 1, if you were Steve Guilkey, Jennifer, what would you be trying to do at this point?
Well, you definitely want to get to the pocket and strike with regularity. Just stay in the game and make your spares and try and get as many strikes as you can. And definitely keep Riga's attitude a little bit iffy on the way he feels about his game.
If there is a way to play a little gamesmanship, and that's tough to do, but if you can do it, it's a good time to do it against a guy that's bowling and throwing the ball so well. And about the only way you can do that is not to make any critical errors, keep the ball around the pocket as he did on that particular shot, and just keep a little bit of pressure. Riga Kalfas has been on TV 16 times, which means the lights and the little red beacons pointed at him really doesn't bother him too much.
Again, Riga saying, stay down.
A key to his game.
Boy, when he's in the pocket, there is absolutely no doubt he's going to strike. I see something different in the way Riga's throwing the ball. He normally used to leave so many solid 10-pin, or solid 7s rather, for the left-hander. Haven't seen any evidence of that.
A lot of that, Jennifer, from what I can see, is the fact that he's using a little bit more authority at the bottom of the swing. In other words, instead of trying to roll the ball and place it, he's actually just putting a little bit more into each shot. And being a smaller player, at least from a stature point, he's needed to do that. We've talked about that for 3 years. Yeah, come on. He liked it. The animation, the release is what gets him there. The attitude is what takes him away from this. And wow, what a great shot. Gets through it with all the intensity that you can possibly imagine. Running it out, and I'm telling you what, he's as good as they come. Steve Guilkey, 10 pins down at this particular point.
However, working on a strike, trying to make it a double. Again, around the ball.
You call it, Jennifer. You call it not. If we can tell you anything at home to try, you do not need to throw the ball hard, but you need to throw it with authority. And that ball, very tentative, very relaxed, and literally nothing on the ball.
It's kind of corny, but people, you know, always say your thumb to your ear, and that's exactly where it needs to be in your release. If it's out to the right, then you're going to go around the ball. If you're through the ball good, you should be up over your ear with your extension.
Couldn't agree with you more.
It's the way I like it.
Well, that's right. We don't get in too many arguments back here, do we? Steve Guilkey, 35 years old, 5'8", carries 200 pounds very well, and he needs to use a little bit of that, like just not doing what he did so well 2 weeks ago, and that's get up there and throw a firm game. I may be mistaken, but I honestly think that Riga's sterling performance in match 1, throwing the 246, may have attributed to the factor that Steve's not bowling to his potential.
Whoa.
Great shot, almost carrying the big 5 out. Take a look at it here. This is how you try to go about it. Slide the 4, careen it off of the second one, right there. Now it's going to glance over and catch the 10. Now with any amount of luck, that pin hits the wall, spins back out, and carries it out. Riga Kalfas, 4th frame, perfect through 3. And if anybody's going to do it, the look is on his face.
Okay, we'll take that. Let's get through the heads. Get out on the way.
Riga giving us some great comments.
That's right. Riga's telling us exactly what he
Makes
did
our
wrong.
job easier, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think I'll go get a Pepsi and a Hudy Delight, and I'll be right back. Speaking of Pepsi, there it is. You got the right one, baby. But Steve, you need to get back in the game. You need to be a little bit more authoritative with your release. Riga Kalfas needs to keep this spare under control. To keep them,
Yep.
halfway down the lane, you could hear him say, often, Jennifer, and it's happened to both you and I. You know it the minute it leaves your hand.
That's the truth. I'm happy to see Lee Gann and Faye Gann, his wife, out here. They are the proprietors out at Suburban Bowl, as we said, on front-wheel drive by the Ford plant. I've never been there, but I hear it's absolutely a fantastic place to go and bowl.
I've had the opportunity to stop in there quite often since I was working the east side of town. It is a marvelous. Closer. I don't know how much closer it can get, but it's a marvelous little establishment, and we are going to be going to the BPA centers, and some of which are in your area of the city. Let's take a look.
Here we go, some of those fine BPA centers. Coleraine, Crossgate, Delfair and Delhi, Durban Bowl and Lawrenceburg, Eastgate, Glenmore and Cheviot, Glen Schmitz in Kentucky, Green Hills, Harrison, Hives, and
MC Hammer, rap star and Pepsi drinker. Well, today, we secretly replaced his Pepsi with Coke. Let's see what happens.
Feelings, nothing more than feelings.
Hammer!
Proper.
There are those who will never be happy with the status quo. Those who must have the new. Those who define themselves by what others are not. Those who never follow. They are the ones who always step outside the line. Yet they are the ones right at the center. They are where the party is. They are the party. Big times. Little kings.
High above the blue chip city, Seven Hills, lies one of the West's favorite entertainment centers, Western Bowl, where in January, the Hudy Classic began another year of competitive tournament bowling. Since 1975, over $1 million in prize money has been awarded each year to men and women bowlers. Additional early bird prizes are paid to winners during the first 6 weeks of the Hudy Classic, the world's largest handicap tournament. Share in the excitement. Western Bowl on Glenway Avenue, Western Hills.
Schiller Ford in Harrison, Ohio, Hamilton County's newest Ford dealer, is located only 6 minutes west of I-275 and I-74. Ford Escort, starting at $69.99. Ford Escort, all new and priced hundreds less than Civic or Corolla. Ford Ranger, only $69.99. Gets better gas mileage than Chevy or Toyota. Schiller Ford in Harrison, Ohio. Drive to the west and save the best. Guaranteed.
That's the way we like it. Get those shoes out. BPA centers have shoes, rental shoes, for your pleasure. As we look at Steve Guilkey trailing by 22 pins with half a game yet to play. not out of here. That's a better shot.
Oh, it really took off.
Better
I
shot.
thought he had it in the right area, too.
So did I. But he obviously needs to throw the ball a little bit harder, as is Riga, to getting the ball through the heads. Now, the heads, when we talk about that, ladies and gentlemen, would be the front part of the lane, basically the first 16 feet. And you have to play that part of the lane because it's very important.
Kind of surprised Steve kind of played that off the gutter on that.
Well, I think he's looking for a way to find a good ball reaction, and you can do that on a single pin spare because you're pretty confident you're going to make the spare.
Mm-hmm. And not fall in the gutter.
Right,
the
right.
Channel.
Steve Guilkey, left-hand lane, finds himself trailing in the match by 22 pins and can start even falling deeper and deeper into a hole without striking.
Oh, there he throws a great shot and doesn't get rewarded for it. That's when you start banging your head against the wall.
Well, a much cleaner shot, but again, still not the authority that we would like to see. Riga Kalfas just absolutely just within himself, controlling his adrenaline, controlling his thoughts, not really worrying about what the competitor is doing. I'm not even sure if he knows what the score is. All he knows is he wants to throw strikes.
He does have a 22-pin lead still. And Riga is one that keeps within his own game and doesn't worry about everybody else. And that, I think, is a good way to be. After all, you can only control your own destiny.
Exactly. And especially, there's only a few games where you can do that. There's a lot of team sports. And bowling is a great team sport. But once you step up on the hardwood, there's only one person that can control what you do. And that's the man you're looking at now, Riga Kalfas.
No way.
No way.
Come on, get loose.
Yanked up on the shot, talking to himself, get loose.
Riga leaving a very difficult spare. You have the danger of chopping it through, and if you don't come up, then you're going to leave the sleeper, or the 8-pin in this case.
The spare we're talking about, of course, is the 2-4-8. Two different ways to chop this. You try to cover the heavy part of the 2. In other words, just a little bit to the left of center. Let the ball carry through. Set. That's the one way to chop it. Left of center, careen into the 4, carry through for the 8. That open frame opens up all kinds of things. We're down to 9 pins.
You know, that good authority you're talking about that's carrying the 7-pin for Riga, that same authority is allowing him to chop his spares. The ball is just rolling so hard, so cleanly, it just picks it right off.
Exactly.
Come on, get your hand out of the ball. Got to get loose.
11 pins. He's still in the driver's seat.
That's a little better.
That's
Catch the ball. No, that couldn't happen. Didn't think so.
a little better. The good release. The good release comes through again, but the pin action not quite what he wants. Gets a few extra, a couple of bonus pins as we get a whirly bird coming this way. 5-pin could have went, but not quite as good a shot as it should be for a strike.
There's Shelley, looking as beautiful as ever. Obviously, marriage is a great for her. Remember, a few years ago, we used to tease Riga about that check going into her. That was when they were only engaged. Now that they're married, you can be sure it's going right to her.
The pinfall you hear in the background is the tournament leader warming up, Mike Whalen. Mike is preparing to meet the winner of this match, and at this point in the game, it's just too close to call. Steve Guilkey can get right back in the match. 11 pins down at this point. With a strike would put him within one stick.
Steve very much struggling with that right lane. Now, I'll tell you what, he almost made that Greek church before. Let's see if he can use the exact same shot and have that careen over into the 10-pin.
That's exactly what we should do. The 4-pin is the second one for the left-hand side of your screen. The 7-pin, the closest to the edge, His job is to take the ball and slide that 4-pin over in. Nope.
Oh, gave it too much to the left. Wow, and that's 7 out. That is not a good scene at all. Boy, we've really seen some tight matches over the last few weeks. You know, almost all of them have come down to the 8th, 9th, and 10th frame.
Exactly, and in this particular case, we're looking, well, again, another close match, 3 frames to go. It's still anybody's game, but Steve must throw good shots from here on out to be in the winner's circle. Just
That
not there.
being one of them.
No. Not the same bowler I remember from the last telecast. He was firm at the line. He got through the ball with some authority. And I think if Steve goes back and looks at that particular tape where he actually bowled very, very well but lost, he'll see the difference in the 2 releases, one of which is a kind of an I'm not sure this is what I want to do release, which is what you're looking at now. And the other one was much more authoritative.
You know, and if you go to your local BPA house, there's possibility at many of these houses they can set you up with a camcorder to tape your game and figure out what's going wrong or right with your game. And it's very important that when you're doing something right, you play on what it is that's right and not exactly what's wrong.
Riga's release is what's getting him to this particular point. The 2 releases, let's take a look at them if we would. Riga's release, a little bit more direct, spinning the ball quickly at the bottom of the swing. And then Steve Guilkey's release, not quite the same. Goes around it more slowly with a little bit more spin. And those 2 differences, as minor as they may seem, very important to the lane conditions we're on today. Minus 24 pins for Steve Guilkey. This man can stay in the driver's seat, and he is bidding for the championship match against Mike Whalen. But it's still not over. He needs to make
a couple good shots, and it will be over.
Yeah, 2 or 3 more good shots, and it's all but history. And he's making an adjustment in the thumb there, a piece of tape, to try to develop a little better feel with the ball, Jennifer.
And that is very important for those of you out there that are struggling with your release or hanging in the ball or squeezing it.
Don't rush.
Work with some tape. Take some in or out, and if you go to your local pro shop, they can show you exactly how to do that.
24 pins, 2 frames to go. Fill the frames, and there's a good chance.
Good pop in the thumb.
Nope.
Going
it's not
high.
gonna hold. Use the other ball, go softer.
He's having trouble deciding which ball has the better feel and which ball is going to get the better reaction. He's going to get 2. He's already decided. He's called his pitch ahead of time. He's going to shoot for the 2 pins across lane. If he makes a mistake to the right, he might make it, but my guess is he'll cover the 2 up because count is critical.
Steve Guilkey can still go out for a 187 game.
And what a sportsman. On the way back, Riga Kalfas slaps Steve's hand and say, come on. Where else can you see that except right here in Cincinnati, where everybody is just wanting to do their best and wanting to win, but never wishing the worst on someone else. Steve Guilkey, 9th frame. We have a potential tie at this point. Much better shot. Much better shot.
He deserved it.
More authority at the release point, staying down, going through at it. Watch at the footwork is what creates the powerful shot. Deep knee bend, gets through it with authority instead of that wimpy kind of release. Boom, 10 in the pit. Every pin doing its job. Steve Guilkey right back in this match.
Should he strike out this 10th frame, he's got 187, which would allow Riga to strike out to tie. So it's very tight at this point. Okay, 127. He has in the 8th. If he spares it up, that'll give him 147.
Potential 167.
Which means Riga will have to mark. But he first has to make this spare to make that possible. Now he's going to need to fill it up with a good count.
That's right. Very. Again, he's looking up at the sheet and shaking his head. Not proud of his performance today, but as he looks at the scores that are overhead, he can quickly calculate that a strike will force his opponent to at least mark in the 10th frame. Big, big shot.
Beautiful. Very, very nice. Now Riga needs 10 pins to tie, which means he needs a mark to go on to get the count in the fill ball to win.
Any kind of a mark will give him 10 of the 11 pins he needs.
Riga will really be going through what he needs here to get it to the pocket.
Needs to make a great shot. Will he do it? Does not make a great shot. How lucky can you get today? I don't know, Riga.
With Riga and his spare shooting ability, there shouldn't be any problem at all in sparing this and going on to win this match.
He's broken down several splits that he could have or should have had. Bringing back this spare. As it starts hooking away.
And the crowd is appreciative.
Let's get out of this one.
Let's get out of this.
Let's get out of this one nice and clean.
Now it's going to be interesting how Riga is going to react in the next game against Mike Whalen.
Hard and straight to try to get that one pin. It might be a good line to try in Game 3 against Mike Whalen. Riga Kalfas defeating Steve Guilkey 177 to 167.